I want to talk to you about the global reserve concept. The existing debt today, we're at 39 trillion, approaching 40 trillion, just in America. And this is what, uh, by issuing our currency, we owe the central bank. Now, the central bank of central banks is the Bank of International Settlements. So, what I'm proposing is a design freeze on bond issuance, and which will allow the United States to dump its debt currently into the global reserve. So the Federal Reserve becomes the global reserve, and our trust dollar becomes the domestic currency. Now, domestic currencies participating in this program will actually be weighed in the forex market just like they are now. The global reserve currency is for participating nations who want to dump their debt into the global reserve, and the big ones will have navies that patrol all the shipping lanes, and they'll tow broken down ships and whatnot. But the companies, the trading networks, they will pay a 2% yield, right? So all bonds will be converted to a 30-year 2% yield, where the debt will be liquidated, okay? And this pays for the service as well as wipes out the existing debt. So the debt does get serviced. That's one way of doing it. We could just declare it fraud and just be done with it, but that's a default. So in order for us to maintain a AAA status, we should do this: a global reserve, which gives it a 30-year shelf life. The Federal Reserve owns the debt, but they're basically just a holding company. And our national navies like India, Brazil, Great Britain, United States, France, etc., Russia, any nation with a large navy can take on an ocean and watch over trading vessels, and that entity will basically be paid for by the trade currency. So it would add 2% cost to any product. Big deal. Meanwhile, those societies with a trust dollar, or life dollars I'd like to call it now, will have no taxation on the issuance of their currency and no income tax. So when you think about it, 30% of any product is embedded taxation. So that disappears, and you get an import. You only have the 30% removed and 2% replacing it. So it's a win-win any which way. But it will also create jobs here in America, and will restore our manufacturing base. This needs to happen. We can't go on with a society that can't afford children and is importing foreigners who won't assimilate so they can pay for their retirement class, which are a bunch of people that are antithetical to the younger generations. So the baby boomers, as they die off, they're not going to have the voting power, and they're not going to be around. So these next generations, my generation will be the first. I'm part of Gen X. I was born in '67. So my generation will take the biggest hit, but it's worth it. So our grandkids can actually own property, and they'll even own themselves. And that's the essential thing. These data centers, don't allow them to be built, and do not take a digital ID. We don't need to be like China. And in fact, I think China's going to abandon this model anyway. It's antiquated, and it's antithetical to the human experience. As China gets more free, we get more restrictive and tyrannical. Tyranny is expensive, people, and I don't want to pay for it. Let's just be honest with you. I would like to own myself, own my property, and be safe in those things, which affirms the Fourth Amendment. It's why this is so important. So my next one will be about law. Thanks a lot, guys. See you again.